Greetings, all. We're glad to have you here with us.
Hello, everybody. I'm Maya from the Uncle Clyde and Flock Show. Today, Uncle Clyde and I are in different rooms, but I expect him to sing his song as always. I wonder what song is he going to sing?
As Maya said, I have a little song that I want to sing for you, and here it is. Whisper a prayer in the morning. Whisper a prayer at noon. Whisper a prayer in the evening. So keep your heart in tune. God answers prayer in the morning. God answers prayer at noon. God answers prayer in the evening to keep your heart in tune. Now, that song says that we should talk regularly to God. You do it in school. I'm not so sure that you do it at home. And so I believe that Uncle Lloyd Rose Green, who is going to be our teacher today, he is on next. And I believe he's going to be talking with you about prayer. Hope you listen, hope you enjoy it, and hope that you promise to go and do like Daniel did. Now we invite Uncle Lloyd to speak to us.
Hello, boys and girls. How are you doing today? You are fine? Wonderful. Guess what? I am fine too. And I'm so excited to be with you to tell you some exciting news. Today is a wonderful day, and I'm glad that you are alive here. Now, you will remember that the last time I spoke to you about some young men who had been captured and taken from their country to another country, and how the people in this country lived differently from how they lived back home. And they wanted them to do things that their God had said was not right. Now, there were actually four special boys, four of them. And the last time we spoke about three. Remember? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And there was the fourth person, fourth boy in the group, who was not there at the time. And he was someplace else. And his name is Daniel. Now, there was something special about this Daniel, and that is what we want to talk about today. What was special about Daniel? Daniel was a man of prayer. Daniel was always praying, but he was not praying to the idols like the other people in the country. He was praying to the God up in heaven. You see, Daniel loved God and he loved to pray. And he used to have the habit of praying to God 3 times a day. And you can read the story in the book that is given by his name, the book of Daniel, chapter 6 will tell you all about this great episode that I'm going to tell you about now. Now, as I said before, Daniel always spent time talking to God because that is what prayer is all about. Prayer is talking to God. And when you talk to God, God listens. He hears what you say and He answers your prayers. And just like Daniel, we too can pray. So, here is our story. Daniel, because he was so bright, along with the others, but he was brighter than the others, the king had made him chief ruler. The king had his big country and he had divided it up into different areas and he had put rulers there. Now, Daniel was the chief ruler because he was wiser than all the other rulers. So the king promoted him to be one of the chief rulers. And boy, can you imagine all the other rulers, those who were not God's people, they were very jealous of Daniel. They didn't like it at all, and they didn't like him. And they wanted to get rid of Daniel. So they made a plan. They knew that they could never catch Daniel doing anything unless it had something to do with his God. And because they served different gods, they decided that they were going to plan a trick on Daniel to make him get punished. So these other rulers went to the king and they said, King, you are a good king, and we want you to pass a law that for the next 30 days, nobody should ask anything of any God or anybody but you. Anything they want, they need to come to you because you are king, you are ruler. They need to show respect for you and your authority. So they need to come to you to ask you. And we want you to sign this proclamation telling all that so we can publish it throughout the whole country. It sounded good to the king because, of course, he would be famous or big and somebody had to come to him to ask of anything. So he signed it. And when he signed it, he put his stamp on it so that it cannot be changed. The law he made cannot be changed. And they went throughout the land proclaiming this law. And they knew that this was how they were going to catch Daniel. So they went to Daniel's house and they hid outside, waiting for Daniel to pray. And of course, when Daniel got the news, oh, the first thing he did was to go to God. And he had a habit of when he's praying, he didn't do it in secret, you know. He opened his windows and he would look towards Jerusalem and he would pray to God because he wanted to go back home. He was in a strange land. This wasn't home. He wanted to go back. And he kept praying God. 3 times each day, 3 times, he would pray to God. And they watch him and say, Yes, catch him now, man. And he ran to the king and said, King, remember that law you put into place? Well, guess what, king? Daniel has disobeyed and he's still praying to his God and asking God for things instead of coming to you. Yes. And they went and they took Daniel and they brought Daniel to the king, and the king said, Daniel, did you pray? He said, Yes. And you know what? They said to the king, King, you have to carry out the law. Your law had said anybody who prayed to anybody else but you were to put them in the lion's den. So we are going to put Daniel in the lion's den. And the king did not want Daniel to go there because he loved Daniel. He had a special liking for Daniel. And he did everything to try and rescue Daniel. But he couldn't because the law had been sent. That's the law. So Daniel, man, hold him, put the lantern and throw him down the hole. And put a big stone over the hole so he couldn't come up. And they were there. Oh yeah, we get rid of him now. Because they thought that the lions were going to kill him. But the king was worried and he couldn't sleep night. He kept walking on the wondering if everything was alright with him. Early the next morning, he ran to the where the lions were, and said, Daniel, Daniel, did your God deliver you from the lions? And to his surprise, Daniel answered, yes, King, I am here, I am okay, because God just sent his angels to shut the lion's mouth so they couldn't do him any harm. And the king was so glad, he commanded them to take away the stone and took out Daniel out of the lion's den. And furthermore, because he knew that what the other guys had did was wrong, you know what he did? He commanded that those guys, along with all their family members, wives, children, grandchildren, everybody, he commanded that they be thrown in the lion's den. And can you imagine? Before they reached the ground of the pit, the lions just jump and pile them up and eat them up. The same lions who did not even open their mouth, they didn't even look at Daniel. No, they killed all these guys who wanted to get rid of Daniel. And because Daniel prayed to his God, he trusted in God to deliver him, and God did not. You know the way? We can do the same thing. God loves when we pray. We need to talk to God because that's what prayer is all about. Talking to God. And God says, tell me all your problems. Tell me whatever. Like now, we are going back to school. You can pray and ask God to help you to learn and to understand the things that He teaches. You can ask God to protect you. There are many, many things that you can ask God for. And when you pray, you must be like Daniel, who believed in his heart that God would answer and God would give him his request because he was asking for the right things. So, as you go back to school, and as you go throughout these days, I want you to remember Daniel. Daniel talked to God all the time. And you can talk to God too. And you know the best thing to talk to God about, first and most important thing, is to talk to God that until when you want to be with Him in heaven when you die. You want Him to tell you what to do each day. You want Him to be your Savior. And boys and girls, Uncle Clyde is going to tell you how you can do that. Just remember this. Always talk to God about everything. Just like Daniel. He will hear and He will answer you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless you.
Uncle Lloyd, it's been a delight hearing from you today. And boys and girls, you're back at school, and we're hoping that you would take Uncle Lloyd's words this morning and the words of the song I began this program with today. Now, listen, you have to talk with God. Maybe your mother and father don't, but you are to get by yourself and talk to God. Tell Him your heart. God waits to hear, and you want His blessing on your life as you go from day to day. So please take time and talk to God. Not one day and miss out two and do it only at school. You are to do it every morning, during the day, and in the night. You thank Him for hearing you and keeping you safe. God bless, and we'll see you next time.